What's happening, party people from the fifth dimension? This is your homeboy Angelo reporting live from Glens Falls, New York, upstate here, foothills of the Adirondacks, at the Soulful Healing House with my friends Stephen and Nancy. Anyways, I had some thoughts today about healing, how to heal yourself, and witnessing people online today who are not feeling well. And I was there for a long time. I'm a brain cancer survivor. I've overcome terminal brain cancer. I fought the odds and I won because, well, first of all, the first thing it starts with is mindset and heart set. If you believe, Henry Ford said, whether you believe you can or believe you cannot, you're right. So start with that. Now, there's people out there, and I was one of these people at a time, when you see their posts on social media, and essentially they're a victim of life, they're a victim of circumstances, and everything is happening to them, not for them, and everything that is going on in their life is from an external source. So that's a victim mindset. I was that way myself. So how do we break the curse of a victim mindset? I think a lot of people who are stuck in a victim mindset don't even recognize that they are putting themselves in a position of being a victim. So we all do it. Don't get me wrong. We all become victims in our lives at certain points. Maybe it's unresolved past trauma. Maybe it's a medical condition that is a result of chronic disease. But whatever it is, the way to get past being sick or being a victim is understanding that you have the power to heal yourself. I know that sounds like a big leap. That sounds like a big statement, and I'm going to give some other anecdotes about what I'm talking about. But understanding that you have the capacity to heal your body through your mind, through your energy, through your intentions, and you can take all the superfoods in the world that you want to, and that's going to help you, definitely. It's going to help you to eat right, sleep right, meditate, breathe right, all these different things. But what's going to help you the most is your mindset, because you can't even start to do any of those things until you get your mind right, to know your purpose and know your why. If you don't know your why, then therein you are lost. So anybody out there who maybe they have like some kind of disease, discomfort, something that's like chronically disturbing their life to the point where they're miserable, and understandably so. When I had brain cancer, when I went through chemotherapy and radiation, chronic epilepsy, I was heavily medicated. There was a period of time right there where I was cursing God. I was not believing in anything. I'm like, I'm just super nihilistic and self-destructive, and I didn't care about myself whatsoever. I did, but I didn't know how to care about myself. I thought the way of caring about myself was getting attention by going on Facebook or Instagram or whatever and posting about how bad my life was. And I did utilize that to an extent to help raising money for charities that involve themselves with like brain cancer, find a cure, right, through Big Pharma or something like that. But the way I really started to heal my body was to begin having gratitude for what I do have, not focusing on all the things that were wrong in my life. Because let's be real, there's always something wrong in our lives, and Buddhism teaches us that to live is to suffer. And it's true, think about it. Throughout the course of a week, it's like a movie. You watch a movie, the movie starts off, you get in the plot, and then something goes wrong. And then it's fixed. And then oftentimes it goes wrong again, and then there's a big something wrong, and then it's resolved, and at the end of the movie everything goes right, and that's the end. The credits roll, typically in a comedy, a non-tragedy movie. But in real life, these ebbs and flows happen throughout. So people die, sickness happens, illness happens, discomfort, things that we didn't expect happen. And that Buddhist idea that life is suffering really shows itself. So how do we deal with that? Well, having a daily practice is a great way of not being so unstable through those times of tumult. Having a daily practice of gratitude and service are the highest means of helping yourself when you're not even focused on yourself. You're working on helping somebody less fortunate than yourself. You're teaching, because when you're a teacher, you're also a student twice over, because to teach, you have to learn the lesson plan, and then when you're teaching it, you're learning it a second time. You're hearing yourself speak it into existence. So speaking into existence that which you want to see manifest is essential. So a gratitude journal, maybe you're going to write gratitudes about the things that you are truly grateful for in your life, but also, what are you grateful for that is coming to you? This is the law of attraction. This is, okay, I'm grateful that I'm going to get that job, or I'm grateful that my health is changing. I'm grateful that I'm healing my body. That's what changed my life through the works of Dr. Joe Dispenza. I followed him. It's all teachings and knowledge. Knowledge is just knowledge until it's implemented, and then it becomes wisdom. Knowledge out there, there's endless amounts of books and resources online, and there's people who study self-help books all the time, but if they're not implementing what they're being taught, like you can read Wim Hof all day long and listen to his teachings, but until you get your ass into the cold and start working on some bioenergetics, you are not going to reap those results of what Wim Hof is doing. And it's about staying consistent. It's about being, pushing yourself to a point. You don't want to push yourself to the point of burnout, but let's face it, a lot of people are lazy. I've been lazy, and times I find myself lazy. Rest is an overlooked pillar of health. We burn ourselves out so much trying to better ourselves sometimes that we don't realize that sometimes we need to take a step back and assess and look at what we need to do. Formulate a game plan. When you know your why and you know your purpose, then you know how to attack it. You know how to approach it. You have a roadmap to where you want to go. And a lot of people don't have a roadmap. They just know where they are. They're in the business of the isness. They're staying right there, and they're like, I'm a victim. Like I'm sick. I have this health problem. I have this financial problem. I have this. Believe me, all problems are solvable as long as it doesn't mean that you are dead. If you're not dead, you can still resolve your problems. You still have the capacity to solve your problems if you are not dead. If you're still alive on this earth, you can heal yourself in some capacity. Does it mean that because I had a brain tumor and I went through a month of everyday radiation and chemotherapy that I'm going to have the same brain that I had before? No, but there's a potential for quantum healing. There's a potential for neuroplasticity. If you have cancer of any part of your body, if you have like an acid reflux disease, if you have any kind of whatever it is, there's infinite types of disease in the world, and all disease comes from chronic exposure to toxins. Now, toxins are not just, you're eating glyphosate, which that's a huge one in our society because it's in the air, water, and soil. Toxins are also being around toxic energy, chronic stress, people who we see as, our family, our friends, but really they're not helping us to become a greater version of ourselves. So it's good to cut the cord. It's hard. Change is not easy. Stepping into the unknown is not easy. So it's essential to say, is this where I want to be? Ask yourself some really hard, honest questions. People aren't honest with themselves. They're like, I'm sick, but they'd rather just take it online every day and complain about it. Who the fuck wants to listen to you complain all day? A, people who like to listen to complainers. B, people who feel sorry for you. Or C, maybe your family, because that's how families operate sometimes. But sometimes we need to cut out people, and even in our families, that are toxic, and people in our lives who are enabling us, even though maybe they were our best friend when we were like 3 or 4 years old, and maybe in high school we used to drink beers together. They had my back in the day. But you know what? You don't live back then anymore. You're not in high school anymore. Your family things change. Think about all the change that you've gone through in the last 2 years since this whole situation in the world has unfolded. A lot of people have gone down the tubes and they've gotten sicker. They've developed more unhealthy habits. They've gained weight. They've sat in front of the TV more. They've consumed. They're online all the time. And they're not working at a goal. They're not clear about what their goal is. They're not clear about their mission and purpose. Once you know your purpose, dream, and legacy, I learned this from one of my mentors. Purpose, dream, and legacy is what it's all about. Do you even freaking know why you're put here on earth? Do you know what your gift is? You possess gifts in your life that no one else possesses. At least one thing in your life that you're better than everybody else at. Doesn't mean you have to monetize that. See, we live in a society where you're taught you have to make money to be worth anything. That's not true. If you're of service, to other people. You're helping other people. I mean, what do you think Mother Teresa's bankroll looked like at the end of her life? Probably nothing. But we know who she is because of the legacy, her purpose, dream, and legacy, helping other people, being of service to other people, and being grateful. If no one else, being grateful to God, universe, source, creator, whatever you want to call it, being grateful for this beautiful day. And if the weather, you can't control the weather, just like you can't control certain things. So I think it all kind of distills down to something biblical, but it's, there's a lot of great parables in the Bible and other books that there's also things that are not. It's just what you extrapolate from it. Look at it this way. The Serenity Prayer is the one that they teach at Alcoholics Anonymous and all these and other things. And I believe in it wholeheartedly. It's like God, I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't know it verbatim. God grant me the strength to change the things I can change, to accept the things I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference between those two. Now that's not easy. That's hard to do because who knows? But the sky is the limit, meaning whatever you can imagine, like Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich, if the mind can conceive it and believe it, then it can achieve it. That's true. So where are your limiting beliefs lying right now today, in this day right now? What are you most afraid of? What are you scared of? Have you been like me, sitting around kind of lazy and disorganized and not knowing what step to take forward? Maybe you feel like I liken it to having a browser open on your computer and there's so many tabs and you're trying to deal with all the tabs at once. The thing you got to do is you got to say, okay, what's my first priority? You got to prioritize. You got to write things down. So the pen to paper element's huge. Write things down. Okay, this is the first thing that I need to focus on today. I also look at it as like, if you're a messy person, you have piles of laundry everywhere. Some is dirty, some is clean. How am I going to attack this stuff today? Where do I go? Well, you can either hire Marie Kondo or you can just be like, okay, I'm gonna make 3 piles. This one I'm keeping, this one I'm getting rid of, and this one I'm donating. Or simplify, because overcomplicated. What's most overcomplicated is the thoughts and words and dialogue that's going around and around in our mind. That's overthinking is catabolic. So pen to paper helps to get some of that out. It helps to liberate the monkey mind. And it helps us to unfold a higher truth for ourselves. So if you're not productive, I see people saying they're not productive, and let's see, Chris says here, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Exactly. So, I believe it's important to find a cause and a source greater than yourself. If that's God, if that's Buddha, if that's Jesus, if that's whatever it is for you, man. But make it aligned with your highest purpose of your greatest good and be of service to people and have gratitude for that which you already have. And these things might not have shown up in your life yet. But if you can, again, one more time, if the mind can conceive it and believe it, it can achieve it. That's it, really. That's the lesson for today. Stop being a victim. Get out there and take the world by the short hairs and live it, man. Live it, because this is the only life you got. All right? I'm going to do the same, because this isn't just for you guys. This is for me. I'm going to practice what I preach. Love you guys. Have a great day. Namaste, motherfucker.